And this is very important. The role protocols in the news media too. And in reference to the news stations in Indianapolis, I have not received any letters from them or any emails in reference to the TV channels or radio stations in Indianapolis. Does anybody know what's going on with that? And didn't my mother buy some TV stations in Indianapolis or something? My father owned the most TV stations in the country, and my mother, she probably uh, had management or something in some of them. But I haven't received a letter from any of the news networks, and I'm supposed to be able to go to a news network anytime because there are real protocols there too. Real protocols at all news networks in America too. So in reference to the news media, these government people have been blocking me from the news media. I've called Channel 8, and I don't know if Les Mundez tried to send me money before or what, or any of the other news networks, but nothing's ever arrived. And, in reference to the LA Times or New York Times, I've not seen any information of any of the news stories, in reference to this situation of me being held hostage on the internet or anything. And I was in the LA Times before. I've been in the magazine before. I mean, the newspaper before. And there's articles of me when I was a child celebrity, when I was younger, and other times in movies and TV shows when I was younger. And these people blocking information about me and my career. And don't forget, I have a very long career in the future too. There's probably over 1,000 more movies I have to be in, and TV shows and productions of my mother and father's production companies. And so, in reference to the news media, I don't know if they've tried to contact me. You know, some of them have been in restaurants where I've worked during this hostage situation. And, I'm supposed to be a newscaster too, in possibly Las Vegas and LA and some other places. And, somebody had said that CNN was trying to hire me, and Court TV. I haven't received any of the monies if you tried to send anything. But, in reference to the situation, the local news, I've not received a letter from any of them. And some of them know me. Like some of the newscasters knew me back in the 80s when I was held hostage here. Plus, my mother had went to the news networks, and or she'd sent somebody over there in reference to the news networks. And I've been in newspapers and magazine articles before. And these people holding me hostage, trying to steal my identity, all those news networks, all the newspapers, all the magazine companies need to file charges against these people for trying to steal my identity. You guys know that, right? So in reference to the newscasters or the news networks, and hello, Las Vegas News Network. Somebody tried to communicate about the Las Vegas News Network because I'm supposed to be a newscaster out there or something. And haven't received nothing. And, I own my mother and father's TV stations and radio stations and production companies and studios forever. This is just absurd. I think I think there's some people that are just, I know people are scared of the satellite controllers because they know they're very violent and they're dangerous and sickos. But in reference to the situation, I've been in the media my whole life since I was born. I was born as the richest kid in history of the world. My mother and father was two richest people in the world, and my parents employed a lot of people and followed the guidelines of employment, followed the guidelines of running companies, followed the guidelines of wages. My parents didn't set the national wage. Don't try to blame my parents because of, people saying something about, oh, they thought your parents being super rich. Yeah, my parents being super rich does not determine your wages or anybody's wages. There's a national set market or it's documented in reference to what the national wages were back then. Don't try to make up lies. These people have tried to make up lies when they tried to sell their copyrights to my father or my mother in reference to any music or anything like that. And then these people wanted to make up lies because, those people wanted quick money back then. They were paid like 7 cents every time a song was played or whatever. But these people wanted millions of dollars up front. So in reference to the studios buying their copyrights, they were paid in full. And then these people spent and blew their money. Then they tried to reattach themselves to things that they had sold to the studios, meaning they were trying to play double indemnity, meaning like they sold their copyrights to the studios, not me. I'm not ever selling my copyrights to nothing. But in reference to, they sold their copyrights to the studio, and then they went out and blew their money, and then they tried to reattach themselves to their copyrights that they had already sold, and they had blown their money. And then they tried to steal the studios. Then they tried to steal the TV networks. Then they tried to steal the radio stations after they were already paid in full. So it's double indemnity crimes of these people trying to extort, trying to steal things that they sold. Like, for instance, they blew their money, and then over time, over years, sometimes things appreciate in value. Like somebody will say, a car value at this time, it has a certain value. Then it depreciates. And then if it becomes a classic, then the value goes up over time if it appreciates. See, these people that are tied in with trying to steal the studios are a bunch of scam artists and liars and cheats and thieves. And some of them, their tricks are criminal. And these people tried to kidnap me, and they've been holding me hostage after they kidnapped me in Indiana. These people are trying to play their double indemnity crimes. And then they, like when they were paid for their copyrights, oh, they were happy then, weren't they? But then they blew their money. And then they were trying to make up, saying that they thought they were underpaid because of when they were paid money at that market value or that time. And then things appreciated because my mother and father had advertised and produced more activities of that particular media. Then these people wanted to make up lies, saying they thought they were underpaid when they were paid in full before. And then, when things appreciated and after they blew their money, they wanted to make up lies saying they were underpaid when they were paid for their copyrights a long time ago, these people. So, you got to think about particulars of market value. They're messing with my mouth. You got to think, they just pinched on my lip, like they do this on the lip, like it's attempted murder, man. Stay out of my face. You're going to be going to prison one of these days, you dirty, sick freak. But, in reference to, newscasters and the history, I haven't received, and I'm supposed to be an executive of my mother and father's companies. I'm the owner of my mother and father's estates. So, in reference to these people trying to play their tricks, whoever they are, they can get arrested for defrauding me and holding me hostage, and people trying to steal my lawsuit monies. These people are scam artists, whoever they are, and it's attempted murder every day. And newscasters, I don't know, if any of the TV stations was holding on to monies from my mother or not, or any of the companies. I haven't received any of the revenues or dividends or anything, or any letters from any of the newscasters. And I haven't received anything from governors or mayors either. So, this is a hostage situation, and governors and mayors need to put it on record that what they have tried to send monies or information, because it's a nationwide hostage situation. Reference to, because my parents owned property in just about all 50 states. So, all the governors and mayors was kind of obligated to understand what these, or the situation is, and what kind of hostage situation it is. Lots of things of importance.